All right. Welcome everyone to the Flux Dev Meeting. Today is March the 3rd. Do we have anyone who's new on the call who wants to introduce themselves? Okay. All right, so I'm looking at the agenda right now. The first item is from Philip. First, let me check. Are there any action items or things from the last meeting we need to look into? Right. Okay, it looks like there were no action items. All right. Who's going to take notes, or are we going to do this together?
I can help take notes.
Super. Yeah, if I can, I'll help as well. Philip, do you want to go first?
Sure, I can go. So this is kind of something I wrote this up last week, but we didn't have time for this. This is mostly just so I just wanted to check how, or if any thought has been put into the whole remote Git source authentication discussion that's been going on since like the beginning of Flux v2, which becomes a bit more urgent, I guess, regard as Customize is removing some of its support for remote sources. I know Stefan has done written some sort of proposal there, which at least I thought was a pretty good solution to the problem. But I don't think that anything more has been said about that, right?
Just remote archives, remote files.
So this is like, say in a situation you have a customization and that refers to another repository that is private. That today does not work because we can't solve authentication for that, right? So I think that the proposed solution by Stefan was to add a new field to the Git repository source where you can like map in another Git repository and say, okay, so it behaves in a similar way to how Git submodules work. And that way you can like have one customization that builds from multiple Git repository sources.
That sounds complicated.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I wanted to bring it up, is because maybe reignite the whole discussion and look at what options do we have out there, or is there an option even to solve this?
Yeah, so I've discovered my idea is not a novelty. Some people pointed out that Ansible already has something very similar to what I wrote here. Also, Puppet, I didn't know, and other systems. Like, this is pure layering of multiple repos on top of a file system. There's nothing magic about it.
Yeah.
But I have no time to work on this. This was proposed by me on October last year, maybe October next year, if I have to work on it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I have some time that I could put on it as long as I don't have too much to do with Terraform provider, and that's kind of why I wanted to reignite the whole discussion, is because I'm seeing a need for it that is kind of growing. But first of all, we have to like actually agree on how we're going to implement this.
So what people are doing today, I mean, this is a blocker for many Flux One users.
Yeah.
What they are doing today is, so I've merged, I don't know, almost 1 year ago, right after customized controller was a thing. I merged a pull request that adds the Git CLI to the customized controller container. and people are doing the Flux One dance. They are mounting keys in volumes inside customized controller, and yeah, they use customized remote bases, and because customized shells out to Git is there. They set up the SSH agent, the keys, and everything else, so it works. But it's an awful workaround. Yeah, my proposal is how to layer things on the file system inside the final artifact, so it completely avoid all this SSH dance. But there is also a different topic about the fact that Customize no longer allows you to refer to archives and files in archives. And somehow related to this, I've explained a little in the Customize v4 issue that I've created in Flux 2, what this entails, what it means that people can no longer use GitHub releases to pull manifests from there. I know a lot of open source projects are using GitHub releases to publish the final YAMLs. You cannot find those YAMLs inside the repo or in any branch. For example, Cert Manager uses a combination of Helm and Bazel. So they run some Bazel stuff that compiles the Helm stuff, and from the Helm stuff, they publish the final YAML, not the Helm chart, but the final YAML on their GitHub releases. So if you want to install Cert Manager, there is no way in Flux to do it, because it's not in the Git repo. So we need to come up with a solution that you can define a source for remote files.
Yeah, so my solution, or one of the things I thought about, which would not solve this problem, would be to add Git submodule support in source controller, which would be able to deal with multiple authentication methods. But yeah, this is like another problem, which is like how what one solution is kind of like we would end up re-implementing the features of customize into customized controller, right? Like I don't see how else we would be able to support fetching manifests from from release artifacts if we don't implement that ourselves into customized controller.
No,
or
a release
source controller.
artifact is it's a source. So
Yeah,
you have to come up with a new source type that allows you to define where the release is. You give it the GitHub URL, and source controller should be able to get that tar, extract the files that you want, place them in the Flux artifact, and so on.
Yeah. So this is kind of like turned into a two-sided problem. So one is dealing with how do you fetch from multiple Git repositories, and another one is how do we actually re-enable the use cases that Customize has removed. So it's like I think that's actually two issues rather than one, which might have the same solution though.
No, so if we go with the proposal I made here on how to define source layers for Git repos, doesn't solve anything related to fetching archives.
Yeah.
I'm not in favor of enabling Git submodules. I have a feeling they will not work correctly with GoGit or libgit too. If you have, I don't know, different authentication scheme, since the Git repository doesn't allow you to define more than one authentication scheme.
Yeah. So it's more we don't we don't really have a good solution unless it's going with the mapping Git's repositories onto Git repositories, which Michael kind of said sounded very complicated and might turn into a very complicated solution.
Michael, have you seen my proposal? What do you find so
No, I've not seen the proposal. Just on the face of it, it sounds like one of those situations where the cure is at least as bad as the disease, though. Like asking people to kind of compose a file system out of other bits and pieces, and then make sure that all the references line up in the right way. I mean, can you ask people instead to create a container or a tarball and publish that somewhere, which is something people know how to do, rather than have a whole language for doing it inside source controller or somewhere.
So the use case is remote, customized remote basis. That's the use case.
Yeah.
How do you solve that with a container? I don't understand.
Prepare it ahead of time. So think of if you're doing Git submodules, you would get the particular submodules at the revisions you wanted, and that would be your file system. And if you did another step and just grabbed all those files and chucked them into a tarball, then you would have all the files you need, and you can version it. So just think container equals tarball here. So yes, it would need people to set up CI to do that, but on the other hand, it's kind of a lowest common denominator for lots of situations, not just that one.
Yeah, okay.
For people assembling. Well, I like it better than coming up with a language for composing those file systems on the fly. But that's a matter of taste, I guess, as much as anything.
It would be very difficult to debug, at least if we're going to map things. That's kind of the scenario I see, that as soon as a customized build goes wrong, it's like you can't really see the file system.
Right, that's one reason. Yeah, exactly.
You can do curl minus s source controller / artifact, and you get the file system locally.
I think I just wanted to bring this up because it was one of those. I think it's a problem that needs a solution, but I understand that it hasn't really gained a lot of priority, mostly because it's like limited amount of hours in a day. So it was more of just like trying to lift this up as like, yeah, it's something, and that I'm happy to work on. Also, that I feel like, yeah, that if we can just, I think the biggest issue for me right now is coming up with like a solution that everyone would be mostly happy with.
I mean, what Michael proposed means we don't have to do anything. People should build their stuff ahead of syncing, but that's not what all these users want. They don't want to do anything in CI. They just want to keep their customization.yaml as it is with remote bases, and Flux magically should figure it out.
Yeah, that's kind of, I remember we talked a bit before Christmas, and my kind of more ridiculous solution was doing some magic with the customized file and figuring out and solving that for the user. And that would solve the issue of customize with multiple, if you have multiple remote bases from the same repo, you avoid having to download the same repo multiple times, which Customize does today. Yeah, I won't take more time. I'll try to comment in the discussion and see if there are other people who have a better proposal, because I don't have anything better than either than Michael or Stefan today. So I just wanted to kind of start the discussion again.
Super. Any last comments for Philip or questions? Okay, thank you. I have a quick one. I have some very good news for us. I talked to the CNCF folks and we have the required votes together for Flux to move into incubation. So we can't announce this yet. The CNCF marketing team is is working on a press release, and we're going to do a press release of our own. I linked the blog post, like you should all be able to access it. It's a Google Doc in the agenda. It would be really nice if we could write this together as a team. So if you have anything you would like to highlight, anything you want to celebrate, like, I don't know, we do some statistic about how many contributors we had or whatever, please put it in there. I don't want to, decide what we celebrate and what we don't. So let's make it a group effort. There's also 2 more PRs, like we want to update the website, Flux CDIO, for the incubation move. Like Kit and I have put some work into this. Bianca also helped. There's some finishing touches. If any one of you wants to have like a little side project to make something look nice on the website, your help would be appreciated. And another question is, will we manage to move the docs to, like the Flux 2 docs to Flux CDIO in time? I think it would be nice. I guess we're going to get a lot of eyeballs on the website. So what CNCF told me basically is they need like 2-3 days to put together the announcement. So right now we're thinking it might be next Monday, which would give us some time. Yeah. So anyone who would be interested in this effort, like moving the docs, I put some work into it already, Hide as well. I guess we could also schedule some kind of breakout session to do a review of the website and then invite interested folks.
Yeah, we could have a working bee.
Sorry.
We could have a working bee. Do you know what I mean by working bee?
No.
Just like a day when everyone who's interested comes and does that one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it might be tidying up a school or something. In this case, it's moving a website.
Yeah.
So I don't think we can move the docs. We can copy the docs.
Yes. Agreed. Like,
and
I mean,
figuring
if
out
it's toolkit.fluxcd.io, it will be a SEO nightmare for Flux.
No, sorry. I didn't want to say this. I agree, like figuring out all the redirects, that's going to take way longer and is going to lead to problems. I agree.
I mean,
can we do it the opposite way around and just redirect people? Put something on the landing page at Flux CDIO that directs them to Toolkit, or is that too indirect?
I mean, that's what we do right now.
Hmm.
So there's like the first thing you see, it already talks about Flux, and then Get Started takes you to the Toolkit page.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I have some issues with the CSS on the new website. Like, I really like the MK doc.
The what?
The MK doc that we use. For example, the menu is collapsed. All the fonts are smaller. A lot of more things are into your viewport and so on.
Sure, but it's not unresolvable, is it?
No. I mean,
No.
I think we have more things to do on the styling side, not just copy docs, and figure out how to do this huge banner that.
Yeah, no. That if you check the PR, it's already replaced.
Yeah,
That's
I'm looking at the 98 preview and the banner is still here.
Yeah, sorry, that doesn't include the 101. Like if you check.
Oh, it's a different.
Yeah. So one is because one of them is just for the incubation announcement. That's 101, and 98 is for the docs. I wanted to keep them separate because we weren't quite sure if we were going to make it in time.
Oh, okay.
So 101 is what we definitely want to land. I want to update the resources section as well, so that we have like the best videos, like the stuff people should absolutely watch. We haven't updated it in a while.
Yeah.
So a couple of things also, like taking in the FAQ section, we have a couple of basically reasons why Flux 2 is better than Flux 1, and right now we don't really mention this on the website yet, so integrating some of this would also be nice, and I think that doing that for Monday is entirely doable.
Yeah, I had some ideas about restructuring the FAQ and removing Flux 1 versus Flux 2 from here completely and move it as an introduction to the migration guide. Because if someone starts with Flux, they will be starting with Flux 2, having all this comparison in the main FAQ doesn't make sense at this point. It used to make sense like 10 months ago, but now I think it should be on an FAQ of the migration guide or somewhere in the migration guides, because that's targeted to V1 users.
We talked about this before, didn't we? And decided that we could have a Flux 1 specific section that's not the most prominent thing. The problem is that it's the most prominent thing at the minute.
Yeah, we call it migration now, but yeah. So we have a top section called migration, and I think in there we could have the comparison under that, maybe before all the guides, like why you should migrate, because this is what we did. These are all the improvements, and then go to how do you actually migrate, or something like that. I don't know.
Migration FAQ.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff about how does it differ with Flux V1 and stuff, I think is still worth having in the general FAQ, just less prominently. So it could link straight to that section or something.
Yeah, I mean, we could have a single question. How is it version 2 different from version 1? And then, hey, if you want to find more details, click here and see all the tables and so on.
Yeah, that's a good call. Yes.
But Daniel, I think we should try to get all docs merged on fluxcd.io without touching the toolkit docs.
What does it mean?
I mean, the toolkit docs will stay as they are today. We don't delete them, we don't touch them.
Right.
We also have the same content in fluxcd.io for people that will see the announcement. They will come on our website. They will also see the docs. The toolkit is a subdomain, is somehow hidden. If you don't know about it, it's hard to find it.
That sounds like a good solution, and for some time it is doable. But the way the website works right now is that I basically took a copy of what's in the Flux 2 repository and stuck it into the website repository. The idea would be to move the docs there. So I think for some time, until we figure out like good redirects and everything else, we can sort of, apply diffs, but we don't want to do this forever, because I'm already doing this in my branch that I regularly check, is there something in Flux 2 I need to copy over? So we can't do this indefinitely, but...
Are they both automated, Daniel?
The problem is we can't straight copy because we need front matter for the Google website.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not just copy, it's copy, edit, push.
It's more like, apply diffs.
Oh, okay.
Rebase.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it's not a gigantic mess, but if we say like, okay, we copy things for now, we make the website look nice, we have people's attention, they don't get lost on multiple subdomains, we can direct them somewhere, and we get like good or better analytics, like what are the posts
Yeah.
people read. Right now, we don't know any of this. And then let's say in the next 2 or 3 weeks afterwards, we figure out this is how we're going to put redirects in place, then that's fine. But
that's also a challenge because we use GitHub pages to publish the MK Docs website, and GitHub pages doesn't know how to do redirects. So we'll need client-side redirects with JavaScript in each page.
Hidde, have you thought about this at all?
No, there are many things I haven't thought about yet. Let me take a look at it. I mean, the front matter issue for the comment documentation, for example, was pretty easy to solve.
It sounds like a good
so
idea.
I think there is some trick somewhere which we can use to figure this out. I will put it on my to-do list and see if I can do it before. What's our target day that we want to be ready? Friday?
I think, yeah. But now what Chris A and the marketing team told me was Monday.
Yeah, but if they publish on Monday, you want to be prepared on Friday, right?
I mean, if we can do it,
especially
sure.
if it's things like redirects and all the other stuff that's pretty complex to get right in one.
No. I think we can do the redirects later. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
So shall I I have a day off tomorrow and I just can't make any time, but on Friday we could have a meeting to review what we
let's meet up on Friday and figure out all the documentation things.
Super. Anyone else who I should try to get for this meeting who's interested?
Yeah, absolutely.
Super. Okay. Excellent. I think some Tochi and Edison were also generally interested in website and docs things, so I'll ping them as well. Brilliant.
There's mechanical stuff I can do. I can help out on Friday as well.
Yeah, or some review bits that we all get a sense of what's still missing. I think
a
couple of eyeballs.
Okay, let me know when that is and I'll drop in.
Fantastic. Cool. All right. Kingdom, you want to talk about V1 maintenance?
Yeah. So we did some research to figure out what it would take to get us up to the latest Kubernetes Go client. And the answer is not great because of interdependency between Helm operator and Flux. But the good news is that Stefan found a soft touch way to enable us to provide support when they start dropping things that will require an upgrade of some kind. And the upgrade that we'll need to do is not until Kubernetes 1.22, which is not due out until late this year. 1.21 should be coming out this quarter, and 1.22 should be at least the next quarter. So there's a 1.22 milestone that we discussed last week that did not come out last week because of the difficulties. But we should be doing that this week with many fewer changes. It's only going to be the env subs and other small fixes that you can see if you are interested in the 1.22.0 milestone that's linked in the docs. And the 1.23.0 milestone is where I'm putting the fix for the future Kubernetes release that I mentioned. Because it is technically sort of a breaking change, it is worth some discussion, and it's good that we have some time about it. It will only break things for Kubernetes 1.15 and below, but it is necessary for Kubernetes 1.22 and above. So
yeah, so I would delay this at least a month.
I personally think we could delay it as long as until Kubernetes 1.22 is imminent. So it could be delayed 6 months or
Yeah,
4 months.
yeah, it's okay. Let's, I don't know, if you can set up some alert or something in your calendar. The day Kubernetes 1.22 Alpha 1 gets released, that's the day we should merge it, not before. So we gave people enough time to upgrade from 1.15. There are also Flux 2 users on 1.15. So even if we don't support it, they modify the CRDs to be compatible. So I have a feeling many users are still on 1.15.
And the only other thing I have on my list here is I've been winnowing down the PRs and issue reports. As you can see, if you noticed, Flux v1 is down almost 50% in the number of open reports and pull requests. So that's great.
That is great. Well done.
Well done, really.
And very sensitively done as well.
I'm learning a lot reading.
I get a lot of emails and you're very gentle in letting people down. It's good to see.
I haven't got a lot of responses so far, but the people that I have heard from are genuinely very pleased with the way that it's being handled. So
great.
That's the goal.
That's a good endorsement.
That's it for me. I think that's the last agenda item we have right here, unless there's anything else.
Anything from anyone or
I'm sorry,
more?
Stacy's agenda item is.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, I just copied that over from last meeting because they're all still relevant. So there's a couple of upcoming talks. Find them in the next one is next Monday, and find the other ones in the agenda doc. Cool, that was a quick meeting. Any last points, questions?
Tom, did you want to bring anything up, or are you just hanging out?
Just hanging out,
away
listening.
If you like. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I didn't want to put you on the spot.
No worries. Glad to hear it's getting in the CNCF. I think that's really exciting for you guys. Great work.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Have a good day, everyone, and see you again next week.
Thanks.
Bye.
Goodbye.